Hey everybody, my name is Brent Ellis. I am an amateur astrophotographer here in the Memphis, Tennessee area. I've been doing astrophotography now for about 6 years and kind of excited to walk through. I've got some new equipment. I'm going to walk through my experience pulling this thing out of the box, seeing what it looks like. Obviously you see I've already completed it now. I'm going to go back in time and I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. But I am a Sky-watcher EQ6R Pro user. I have been for, again, about 6 years now. This is the first primary mount that I got. I did start off with a smaller Sky-watcher Star Adventurer. Not this one, I've got an upgraded one as well. But I started out with a Star Adventurer, quickly realized that I needed something with a little more oomph to it. Went with the Sky-watcher EQ6R Pro, have not regretted it at all. This is an awesome mount. I will be keeping this one as well. But I've been really eyeballing the new Strainwave mounts that have been coming out as well. I've had nothing but good experiences with Sky-watcher. Again, starting with a Star Adventurer, moving to the EQ6R, adding another Star Adventurer into the mix. So when I saw Sky-watcher coming out with their models, I really wanted to kind of wait and maybe stay in the Sky-watcher family. A lot of really interesting Strainwave mounts out there, but I did get my hands on the Sky-watcher Wave 150i. So I'm going to walk through it here. I'm going to show you getting this thing out of the box. I'm going to put my refractor on it. You're going to see exactly what I did to rewire it, and then looking forward to playing with it from there. So thanks, and we'll take a look at what this looks like. Alright, so this is what I'm coming from. It's the Sky-watcher EQ6R Pro mount. So it is a beast of a mount. So the mount part here, it's about 38 pounds. This thing can hold about 44 pounds of payload, so it can handle a good bit. The tripod, it's got a 2-inch diameter tripod. This alone is about 16 pounds, so I'm definitely planning on keeping this thing. It's strong, stable, and will be able to handle maybe some bigger scopes that I'll eventually get to. But yeah, this is what I'm coming from. What I think I'll miss the most about this as I shift down to the 150i. I do think I'll miss the built-in puller scope. It's real easy and fast for me to do puller alignment, so I haven't done a lot of it through software, which most of the new mounts require us to do. So it's real easy for me to just look through, get everything aligned, and go. So that'll be a big difference. But I'll kind of show you what I typically do when I'm setting up, and then hopefully we'll see what's different with the new 150i. So I pretty much have to tear down and set up every night that I want to do imaging, just mainly in my driveway or if I go out to a darker site. I switch between a couple different refractors, but this is kind of what my setup currently looks like, and I try to keep everything attached so it's easy to take on, put off, do whatever I need to do here. But I've got my main refractor here. This is a William Optics Zenithstar Ferrari. I've got my guide scope on here. I've got a Pegasus autofocus. My main setup here, I'll try to show a picture of this as well, but I've got a Melee mini PC with a Pegasus powerbox down there as well. On this side, I've got a little router that I've got. That's how I remote into it to control. But just to kind of quickly show what I do here, I'm just going to go ahead and try to do a quick attachment. Alright, so I get everything on here. Good to go. So most of my wires I've got going to the proper equipment. Hanging off of this thing, I typically have these two longer ones. I've got my EQ mod cable and then my power cable. I power the Sky-watcher EQ6R Pro from my Pegasus powerbox. So typically I'll just plug right in there, and I'll put the hand control right there. And then I've got one other cord coming off of this. This goes to a power box that I use. I use a Blue Eddy power box. So pretty much a single cable, plug right in, and then I've got power with one cable coming off here. So everything kind of is pretty clear of everything when it's moving. But this little set right here. So obviously as the scope's moving, I got to make sure that these stay clear. I'm excited to look at the cable management of the 150i to make sure that I don't have to worry about this anymore with the built-in wiring into the mount itself. So this should get a little bit cleaned up. So in the end, all I should really have are 2 power cables coming out of the back of the new mount. So we'll tear this thing open in a second and take a look at what it looks like, and hopefully I'll set it up and see what I can change in my setup here. All right, so the tripod I decided to go with for my new 150i, I did go with the ZWO TC40 tripod. So I got the TC40, I also got the PE200 Pier Extension. So this adds about 8 extra inches up on top here. Again, the legs will extend out here. It's not as tall as my EQ6R tripod, but doesn't have to be. Will be lower and kind of sturdier as well. I decided to go this route for a couple reasons. One, price. So the ZWO tripod and along with the Pier, it's maybe about $75 to $100 cheaper overall to get this particular setup. But the other big one is the weight that can go on this. So I think with this setup I can get about 110 pounds of capacity. I want to say the Sky-watcher one looks like it's going to be about 45 to 55 pounds if I'm not mistaken. So quite simply, between price and the weight capacity, that's why I decided to go with this one. As you can see, it's very lightweight, just real easy to kind of pick up and move around. I believe the mount or the tripod itself here is about 5 pounds. Pier extension is about 3.5, if I'm not mistaken. And then based on my research on cloudy nights and a few other places, the 150i, which we'll open up here in a moment, should slot right down on top of this Pier extension and lock right in. So hopefully we'll see that that's the case. This does have this little plate. I did pick up a 3/8 inch, about 1.5 inch bolt from Lowe's to go ahead and add onto this. This allows me to attach my Star Adventure right onto it. I'll show that in just a moment. But that plate, real easy to kind of pull out and put in. But again, I should be able to fit the 150i right in here, tighten it up, and good to go. All right, just to show what this this looks like, aside. So I've got the plate here. I can take this off. I've got the 3/8 bolt. I've got the base here for my Sky-watcher Star Adventure, and I can just kind of go ahead and attach this. Screw this right on here. If I can get that going in just a second. There we go. So real simple to just kind of screw this on. Again, I've got the bolt on the bottom, so now I've got a nice strong connection. I can drop that right onto the tripod here and just go ahead and tighten these up. And so got a good solid connection here. So I've got the base. I can go ahead and attach the head here. Attach that right in. I can take my ball head from my camera. I can attach that right in, and now I can just attach my camera and go. Again, if I need to do the counterweights and all that other stuff, it fits on here. But this gives me a good solid base that I can put the Star Adventure on. Fits on quite nicely. And again, if I want to just remove the whole system real quick, I'll just loosen it up. And again, it comes right off, and I've got that base here. If I can add on the 150i or swap out to something else. But real easy to see here, the Sky-watcher Star Adventure. Again, this is a 2i, but all of them should work the same way. Fit nicely onto this ZWO PE200 Pier Extension. I did also pick up the optional counterweight kit, so we've got a nice kind of stainless steel 11-pound counterweight here. I do like the green a lot. And then we've got our counterweight bar. Again, this will I've got the extension on here, but this will split the two different parts. So I'll just unscrew that. So if I need this to be shorter, I can make it shorter. If I need it to be longer, I can make it longer. Again, the nice little green catcher there to make sure we don't drop the weights on our feet. So nice counterweight kit. So we'll see what this looks like when we attach it. All right. Moment of truth here. I'm going to go ahead and open this thing up. I just received my Sky-watcher 150i. I order most all my equipment from High Point Scientific, so I did not pre-order this before it came out, so I was able to get an order in and they got it out pretty quickly to me. So I'm excited to open it up and see what we're working on here. So I haven't really done any unboxings before, so this will be my first go at this. So it's well packaged here. Go ahead and pull off this protective styrofoam, and so it looks like we've got a nice little case here. Got the Sky-watcher Wave 150 on it. Move this stuff out of the way. Alright, so a nice case here to keep everything secure. Go ahead and unlock this and let's see what we got. Alright. Alright, so no printed instructions. I got some links where to go for the software and the user guide. But yeah, let's take a look at what we've got going on in here. So looks like I've got my cigarette charger cord here, as well as my USB to USB-B to USB-A cable included. Go ahead and set those aside. Alright, let's see if I can pull this bad boy out. Okay, got it in here pretty good. Trying to be a little careful here with it, so but it's in here pretty good. Alright, there we go. So, alright, so here's the mount itself. Let's see what else we got in here. Got a couple little key things here. I guess that's for the case. Got a Wi-Fi cover. Looks like that belongs here on that side, so it'll pop back in. Alright, very good. And we'll see what else we got in here. But here we go. Here's what we're looking at. So we'll kind of take a close-up look at this and close that out. This thing is about 12 pounds, so significantly lighter than my EQ6R mount. So I can already tell a massive difference for carrying this thing around. This one, again, has a 33-pound payload. I can increase that up to, I think, 55 pounds with the counterweight set here, which I can already see where that's going to go. So we'll take a look at that. So I can see my, you can see some adjustment here. So this is where I'll set for my latitude, and then I can see my panels here. All right, so I got power. Here's my saddle, power, saddle USB and guide, and then power to hub, power to the mount, hand control, USB, and USB hub. So really nice pulling this thing out and kind of feeling how much lighter it is here. In a nice looking case. I'll look through that in a little bit and see if I missed anything inside of there, but a couple cables included. I'm gonna reach over here, and moment of truth, we're just gonna dive right in. I have my, again, ZWO TC40 mount with the PE200 Pier Extension. I'm gonna go ahead and loosen this back up. I'm gonna take off the plate that was there, and we're gonna place this right on. So just to try it out real quick, tighten the 3 bolts that are included here. And ladies and gentlemen, I have a solid connection to my new ZWO tripod and PE200 mount. That's really exciting. So let me see if I can go ahead and get this adjusted. And we'll try to figure out, get my angle right. I'm going to go ahead and try to get my refractor setup on here, and I will take a look at some of the wiring. But pretty cool, right out of the box. Fits on the tripod as expected. Now let's see what we can do with it. Alright, so step 1, I want to go ahead and adjust my latitude down, so I'm at about 34 where I'm located. So I'm going to start, I think I loosen these guys up a little bit, and we're going to just, there we go. I'm going to rotate this. So it's going to take me a little minute. I don't know if there's a faster way to do this, but I'm just going to rotate it until I get down to 34-ish degrees here, and I'll get that dead on a little bit later, but almost there. All right, so that looks about right. I'm going to go ahead and lock these back in, so I'll rotate this so we can kind of see I'm at the right, about the right angle now. I haven't done a lot of picking this up yet, but I went ahead and extended out the legs, and this is significantly easier to pick up and move than my entire mount and tripod. Again, I'll usually kind of take all my stuff off, I'll leave the mount and the tripod attached, I'll pick it up and I'll haul it into the garage when I don't need it anymore at night or in the morning after an imaging session. But yeah, this, goodness gracious, that is nice. So, all right, so we've got that set up here. I'm gonna go ahead and look on top. So I can loosen these guys up a little bit. All right. So it looks like we've got the Vixen and Lost Mandy mount here. That one's kind of tight. One of them wants to loosen up. Let me get this one going. Use my sleeve, get some traction here. Well, let me see. This one does not want to budge on me. Let's try one more time here. Now I do notice these knobs are a lot more compact than what I've got on. Tighten this back up and see if that loosens up this other guy. These are a lot more compact than what I've got on my other one. He does not want to let go. All right, I'm going to pause this a second and see if I can get this sucker loose. All right, to run to the kitchen to grab one of these little like jar opener things, but finally got this guy loose. That sucker was on tight. So, all right, so got that loosened up. I'm gonna go ahead and take off my refractor from my EQ6R here off screen. I'll walk back over here. Better disconnect from power from the mount. There we go. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to get this to fit. Loosen this up a good bit more, make sure I've got my Lost Mandy base here to fit on. There we go. And I'll do a rough balance. I know where about the center of gravity is on this guy. And again, first thing I'm noticing for me, again, getting used to the knobs, they're a lot larger on the EQ6R. This one I do not have as much kind of wiggle room to work on. So got this on here. See how we feel. I feel pretty solid with it. I know we've got the balancing clutch here. I'm not planning on touching this guy anytime soon. So I've got my ports here. I've got some ports on the saddle on this side. We're going to go ahead and take a look at what I can start plugging into here. All right. So first thing, I know Sky-watcher recommends not to power the mount from a power box. I think it would work, but they do recommend that I've got power coming from my battery, 2 cables, one to power the mount and then one to power the hub. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to unplug this one for a moment. So that's the one that I typically have coming in. Take a look at that in a moment. Where is my... Alright, so here I've got one power cord. Here's the other one. So this is what I would usually plug into my EQ6R mount. I'm going to go ahead and pull that out as well. Let me figure out which one of these I think it's this one. There we go. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that one out of the mix. So shouldn't need you until I go back to using the bigger mount. And then I am also going to go ahead and take off my EQ mod cable. So we're going to do that one a little bit differently as well. So I'll talk about this in a second when I get there, but go ahead and set this aside as well. Okay, so I've got all of my stuff going here. So a couple things I need to figure out, and I'll go with a couple pieces here. So I do know if I need to connect the mount to my mini PC, again, I could go ahead and come directly from the mount right up here to the mini PC, but they did give us this mount saddle power and wire routing. So let me look around here and let's see, let me go ahead and rotate this. It's pretty easy to move. So I can take my USB A to A and I should be able to go right here. I'm going to get a shorter one of these, but for now I'm just going to pass that through here and I'll deal with this cable later. But now once I do what I need to do on the back here, this, I won't have any cables I've got to worry about moving while slewing and the motion of the mount through the night of an imaging session. I also have some power up here, so I'm going to grab... So one of the things that is different about this, I know some people complain about it, I don't know if it's a big deal or not, but they've got 2.5 millimeter on the power input for the saddle, and then these power outputs up here are also 2.5. Most of what I have is 2.1. Not a huge deal, but I do have a couple of 2.5 to 2.1 converters. I'm going to start with, I've got a male-to-male that should work for what I need. So I'm going to take power out and go directly to my power box. So I'm just going to pick one of these. Make sure, is that the right one? No, that is not the right one. Instead, I'm going to shift and use the main thing I bought. So I have, is this right? Yeah, that's it. So I've got a couple of these. This is a male 2.5 to a female 2.1. Make sure. It's 2.1, 2.1, right? Yeah. All right, so I'm going to take this 2.5. I'm going to go ahead and plug it up here. And then I have my input to my power box. So I'm just going to go into the power box. And again, I'll clean this up later. But now I can kind of tuck this away up here. So I should have power and connection right here on the saddle. So as everything's moving throughout the night, I should not have to worry about anything moving up here. So that was pretty easy. Didn't have to mess with a whole lot else up on my kind of mini PC and power box setup just yet. I do have a couple things I can do down here. So there are two. It's not really going to be able to show this well, but on the back down here, I do have power in to power the mount. I also have USB to access the mount. So, and then I've got power. I'm going to use another one of my 2.5 to 2.1. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in here. So this is where, right here is where my power that's going to go up to the hub is going to come from. All right, so I need a few other things. Now, Sky-watcher recommends that we use the EQ mod cables. Probably do that. I did get some bridge cables here as well. I got these off Amazon. I think they'll work out well. Let me see which one I want to use first, and then I'll tell you what I got. I think it's this one. And okay, perfect. So I picked up a couple of these. As you can maybe see, there's not a lot of clearance between my dovetail and where this power is. So I did pick up a couple of things that would help out with me here. And I've got a right angle USB-B with a right angle USB-A. And I'm going to use this to bridge from the mount to this pass-through, which is coming up here to this USB-A and going to my mini PC. So to do this, and I got one that's not going to block the hand controller port, so you can kind of pick the perfect angle and make sure that it's not going to block anything. That's what I did. I'll try to add a picture of this if I can, and we'll just kind of fit this in, figure out which way my USB-A goes. Okay, there we go. So just a simple little bridge connection from USB-B to USB-A. This will push the mount connection up through the wiring, and again, out this USB-A and into my mini PC setup. So that was easy enough to do. And then I've got my, so now I just have to worry about power. So let me see if I can pull this over real quick. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about power here. So I've got everything else set up here. I've got some of my 2.1 millimeter DC cables. These are going to be coming from my Blue Eddy power box that I use. So typically I've got one cable coming up and it powers everything through my Pegasus power box. This is going to be a little bit different, so I'm going to pull out a couple of things here just to get my connections going. So I'll have one basically 2.1 to 2.1 millimeter longer extension cord. I usually have this power box on the floor. I'm going to take this up and we are going to go right into the mount power. And again, I might get a right angle adapter for that just to give me a little more clearance. And then I got another longer cord here. This is the new one for me. I'm going to have a second line coming up, and this is 12 volt 10 amp coming out of these two pieces here. And again, I added this 2.5 to 2.1 adapter earlier. We're just going to plug right into that. So this is what it'll look like for me. I've got two cables now. Instead of one coming off, I got two. That's not a big deal, but powering the mount itself and then powering the saddle. And none of these wires down here are going to move throughout the night. Everything moving is actually going to be up here on my scope. So this is what it's looking like. Again, I'll have some wiring cleanup to do, and I can probably clean up a few more of these things now that I don't have to worry about everything coming off of my mini PC setup and going into the mount. I've only really got one connection, and it's this USB-A piece here. But this is what it looks like. Again, real easy to kind of adjust. I'm going to go ahead and take a look too. So I do have my counterweight kit that I talked about before. So I am going to take a look. So this has an adapter piece here, just screws right off. Ooh. Not going to lose that. And got my bar. Looks like we're just going to screw it right into place. Solid. And oh, here's my counterweight. And then my 11-pound counterweight, we're just going to go ahead and slot that on here. Again, I can do some lightweight balancing on this, but does that fit? Nope. So the one that's on here doesn't fit on the bar. I'll have to grab my green one, which is across the room, but it at least shows how easy it is to go ahead and put the counterweight onto the system here. All right, and there we go. So was able to kind of take you through a little journey on what it's looking like as I shift some of my my equipment over from this EQ6R Pro up to the new Sky-watcher 150i strain wave mount. Pretty easy all in all, so pulled it right out of the box, fit perfectly on the tripod setup here. We were able to see again how the Sky-watcher 150i fit nicely onto this PE200 ZWO Pier Extension, so the TC40 Tripod, worked perfectly right out of the box. Also took a look again at the Sky-watcher Star Adventurer sitting on top of the PE200. Real easy. I'm glad it all worked out. Everything I read said it was going to, but it's nice always to have that confirmation and see it doing what it's actually supposed to. So really excited. I'm not going to kind of do it in this video. I'm going to get power running on this thing. I'm going to get drivers set up. I'm going to get Nina talking to the mount, but wanted to quickly kind of walk through again what it looks like taking this thing out of the box and what it looks like as I shift from what I was doing on my old mount to this new 150i. So pretty easy, pretty cool. Hoping for clear skies so I can try this out. Yeah,